So firstly, I'd just like to thank the team who's put all of this together. We have Gary and Serene, who you've met. Sarah is at the back. That is Serene's business partner hiding there. Hey. And then we have my lovely wife here, Chuch, and my daughter, Zanetta. You can tell that the looks don't come from my side of the family. That's lovely to have both of them here today. And of course, thank you all for making the time. It's so good to see so many of you here. Is it okay if I talk to the mic, or would you like me to project my voice? What's better? Mic's better, right? Yeah, because that way I can just keep my voice down. Cool. So really, really happy that you're here. Thank you for making the time. We're in for a bit of a treat. I've decided to put something together that's a bit special, and I hope you're all, well, I don't hope, I know you're all going to get a heap of value from it. Who here is in business now? Who's got a business? Great. So that's pretty much everyone. And who's been in business less than 5 years? Excellent. More than 5 years? Right, wonderful. So we've got a mix in here. Who has a business that has a team in it? Ah, okay. That's going to be great. All right, you are going to get a whole heap of value today as we're going to go through some really amazing principles, what I'm calling the 7 shifts, and yeah, we're gonna get underway. So after thanking the team, thank you to all of you. I'm just going to take you through the agenda quickly. So we started at 4:45ish. At about 6, we're going to have a 10-minute break, and that's to give you a chance, go to the loo, get refreshments, etc. And then we'll close about 7:30. Yeah, and then we can chit chat, whatever. There'll be some things to discuss. So if you just want to hang around and ask any questions, we can do that after that. Yeah. In terms of logistics, Serene has already pointed out the washrooms through there, the fire exits, wherever you can find them, get out. Yeah. Phones, yes. You know, sometimes we need to take a phone call or this and the other. Please feel free. You know, if there's an emergency, take the phone call. If you could step outside, that would be best, if it's possible. But, you know, I'm not one of those people who says, switch the phones off. I don't think that's fair. So if there is an emergency, absolutely go for it. Yeah. Photos. Now, there are some slides that you might be tempted to take photos of. What I'd suggest is please go ahead and take the photos. But what I recommend is please, if you could, post it on social media and tag me. That'd be really good. Yeah. So please feel free to take photos all night long. And questions, you will have burning questions, perhaps. I have left little gaps for questions in every section, and we'll have a Q&A kind of at the end. So if you have a burning question, please interrupt me. I want it to be participative, but I have allowed for Q&As during the process. Yeah. Right. Anything not clear? Get started. Cool. Righto. You'll notice a very handsome guy at the back there from Compass Video. He's videoing here today. We have a release form that you've all seen. So if you would not like to be on video, please just let him know. So we'll make sure that we respect your wishes there. Yeah? And before I begin, a very important thing is to honor and acknowledge the Gubbi Gubbi people, who are the traditional owners of this land. They have been on this land for 70,000 years, and Australia was only settled less than 250 years ago. So for those 70,000 years, they tended the land, they looked after it, they worked here, raised their families here, and they are the traditional owners, and today we'd honor them. Their land stretches from the Pine River in the south to the Burrum River in the north, and west to the Conlil Ranges. And we honor and acknowledge them before we carry on today. Thank you. Great, and of course, honoring and acknowledging you for giving up your time to be here. Thank you so much for taking the time. You've taken time from something else to be here, and I really appreciate that. And I promise you, I'm gonna give you a lot of value today. You're gonna get a lot today. So for most of you know me. For those who don't, I'm gonna quickly run through my little sheet here. I run a company called Business Mind Coaching. I've been a business coach, and my qualifications are that I was born in Kenya. I'm of Indian descent. I studied in England, so I was a little British, and now I'm Australian. So a little bit mixed up. Can you place the accent? Because I can't. I've got a family of 4. You've met 2 here. We have a son as well. He's just finishing off his second last year, penultimate year in high school. And my mother lives with us, and we have a dog called Mara. Right. So I studied in England. I studied a Bachelor and Masters of Mechatronics, which is engineering. And that involved a lot of robotics, control systems, high-end stuff. In those days, when I was younger, it was very, very shit hot. And then after that, I went and did a whole bunch of businesses in Kenya, in England, and then later on here in Australia. When I came to Australia around the 2000, who remembers when GST came in? Who's old enough? Yeah, all right. So I was the project manager on the security infrastructure for the ATO, and that allowed us to submit BASes electronically. That was quite a large project. Hundreds of millions were spent by the ATO at that point. In fact, they had just opened the taps, and we had a really good time, except June 30th, 2000, when we were gonna switch that on, was my 30th birthday, and I was in a server room at the ATO, absolutely shitting it. Because once we switched that thing on, if it hadn't worked, the whole system would have failed for the whole of Australia. But luckily it worked. And the first security certificate that allowed a company to communicate with the ATO electronically was actually given to Cooper's Beer. Right. So I built businesses from the ground up. Really enjoy that process. When I was in Kenya, after the ATO stuff, I went back to Kenya and built up a furniture business. And I loved furniture design. It's part of my family heritage. So I built a furniture business there, and it ended up becoming quite well recognized for really unique designs. And I got picked up by Design Network Africa to go and exhibit globally, and got quite recognized as a furniture designer. So I really enjoyed that. But then I decided to come back to Australia. And at that time, I had gone through about 44 years of my life. How old was I? I was 47 when we came, yeah? 47, yeah. And basically I'd had enough of pretending to be someone else, and I really wanted to spend the rest of my life doing what I loved. So when I was in England at university, studying engineering, I spent most of my time in the university library studying metaphysics, because I was so interested in the human mind, in the human spirit, in the purpose of being a human, in what it's all about, why we're actually here. And I've always questioned myself. I remember I was 2 years old when I first questioned that, and I still remember the moment I did that. So that has been the theme of my life throughout. And when I came back to Australia, I said, now this is it. I'm giving myself permission to really get into it. And so I studied, as Gary was saying, hypnotherapy and NLP. That was the first thing that I studied, and it changed my life. And you're going to meet the guy later who trained me. He's part of this presentation. Then recently, I decided to really up my qualifications, because doing NLP, hypnotherapy, and coaching was great, but I really wanted to focus on leadership. Because I believe leadership is the one thing that allows us to show up in the world in a way that we really make a difference to ourselves, to the lives of others, and we're able to make a real impact in business and in people's personal lives. So I started with someone called John Mattone, you'll meet him later, and someone called John Maxwell, who you'll meet later as well. And I'm currently working on my coaching accreditation from the ICF, and as well as the Professional Speakers of Australia. So since 2017, when we came back to Australia, I've been coaching since then, and I totally, totally love it. That is my purpose, and I totally love it. And at the end of all this, I think I'm a nice guy. Some people may disagree, and sometimes I know I'm not, but I think overall I try and be a nice guy. Right, I hate talking about myself, so now we're going to move on to some other stuff. So what does a coach do? And the origin of the word coach comes from French, German, and Hungarian. So it's coach or kutze. Where is Gary? Gary, I'm not going to bother reading this word, but could you do it for us? Kutche, yeah, kutche. So that's where it came from. And when that word went into English, it was about being an instructor or training. So what a coach does is, you're at point A in your life, right? And you're like, I want to get here, or I want to try and achieve something. And that will be point B. And a coach goes, okay, I'm going to come along and I'm going to help you get to point B quicker, easier, faster, knowing the road, and with less hassle. So you have more chance of success. Oh, that went a bit far. Right. And so we get to point B. And what generally happens in life is when everyone wants to get to a point, especially in business, we have some business goals that we want to hit, and they're off in the future. We find that there's some obstacles in the way. Right? There's suddenly a mountain in the way, and there's some shiny objects flying around that are distracting us. Right? And then there's a waterfall, and then there's a wall. But the wall has a monster on it. Hello. Hi, Deborah. And then it starts to rain. And the rain turns into a storm. And then we have a cyclone. And suddenly we can't make sense, head or tail, of how we're going to get from where we are to where we want to go. Because what business looks like is we have a plan, and we think all we've got to do is follow this plan, and it's a straight line, and we're going to get there. But generally, that's what happens. That's what reality is like. The plan is just an simplification of what we think the journey is going to be like. But reality doesn't have the same plan as our plan. Now, how many of you have found this to be true in life? You think it's going to go a particular way, it's going to be really easy, and then, hang on a second, it all goes really pear-shaped. Yeah. So, I heard a really good saying the other day, and I loved it actually. And that saying was, it's going to be a struggle. Right? Whatever you do in life, if it's worth it, you're going to struggle. But the thing is to choose your struggle, right? Whichever way you're going to do it, there's going to be some elements that are hard, that are going to be challenging. But choosing your struggle means that you're taking the choice, you're being proactive about it, rather than just reacting to life. But what we want to do is we want to turn that struggle into success. That's the real key, right? We don't want to remain down here doing this for the rest of our lives. We want to turn that into success. And that is what we're here for today. Great coaches, and I think I am one of them, help turn struggle into success. So what some of my clients say is up there. I'm not going to bother too much with that. But you know, I'm very fortunate that I've got great clients. We build great relationships, and they get the results they want. But today, it's about you. So now we're on to my favorite topic, not me. Let's go. Why are you here? What's brought you here today?
You.
Thank you, Michael. What else? What else? What's made you come here today to spend some time here, sit around? Yeah, Marina?
I think it's finding solutions for challenges that we've got. Finding some clarity on some kind of a level that will help us on the journey.
On the journey. Clarity on some sort of level to help on the journey. Yeah. Anyone? Anything else? Who'll share? Yes, Kelly at the back.
I'm going to my next level.
Going to your next level?
And into completely new avatar.
Going to your next level, into a completely new avatar. And how do you want tonight to be helpful for you?
Overcome any obstacles that you
Overcome obstacles, yeah. Cam, you were saying something?
Yeah, I was thinking working through some blocks.
Working through blockages.
Blocks that I've been through already, and now I've caused a blockage, and I don't want to almost hindering me from going through it again.
Okay, so we need to have a chat.
Yeah.
Right, cool. So generally, we know that things are tough, and we get stressed, we get overwhelmed, burn out. We have all these obstacles. We're always facing them, especially in business. And business is kind of like a challenge against yourself. It's like we're running a marathon, but we're the ones holding ourselves back and planning the route. And it is tough, we know that. And the outcomes we want are that we want it to be easier. We want to have more money. We want more fulfillment. Yeah? We want things to be different. Who would agree with that? That makes sense? Yeah, cool. So I love what Richard Branson said, whether you like Richard Branson or not. Some people like him, some don't, doesn't matter. But what he said, I really like this. A business has to be involving, it has to be fun, and it has to exercise your creative instincts. And that is one thing I really believe, is that it must be fun. Because if it's not fun, why do it? Why stay in that struggle if it's not going to be fun? And like I was saying earlier, if you choose your struggle, you have the ability to turn that struggle into something that you can see as fun. Yeah? Some people can be in paradise and be in hell at the same time. Yeah? It's about choosing how we view things, choosing our perspective. That's where we have power. So today we are here to create successful outcomes for all of you, and I hope today you're going to get that value. You're going to get some real great insights and real great information that's going to help you. So when most people go into business, there's the business and they think they're going to be off having a good time. Everyone experienced this, right? It's really like this. Yeah? We have all the money we want. Yeah? We have all the money. We have all the time we want. And we can go wherever we want, anytime. We have location freedom. So this is money, time, and location freedom. Who's got this in their lives? No hand is raised. Oh, Richard does. You do a little bit? Yeah, get in there. Cool. Because what ends up happening is that we end up actually working in our business. And we get stuck there. And then all that stuff that we wanted, the freedom that we wanted, is gone. And then, pretty soon, business is a box. And if we don't do something about it, we get buried in it. Literally. Yeah? So the question I have for everyone is your business working for you? Or are you working for your business? Yeah? I'll put it another way. Are you your business's bitch? Yeah, because that's what it wants, right? If you give your business your time without discipline, you give it whatever you want, it demands of you, you will always be your business's bitch. So something has to change, right? Something has to change, right? So that's what we're doing today. It's the 7 shifts. And the idea is to get you from struggle to success. How does that sound? Oh, that was pitiful. Come on. How does that sound? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now we're talking. Yeah, let's get some energy in here. Brilliant. So my promise to you that was, on every flyer that you saw. How many people saw my posts on Facebook? I'll apologize, yeah. How many times did you see them? Like countless times, yeah? They all had that on it. All right, so that's my promise to you tonight. This is what we're going to go through, right? And I want you to receive this value because that's what I've promised. Right? And that's overcome what's holding you back, create a compelling future-driven strategy, become an attraction magnet, create an unstoppable winning mindset. I don't need to read the rest, but that's what we're here for. So let's begin. My commitments to you are I'm going to give you incredible value. You are going to get an amazing amount of clarity today. And what I want you to focus on is insights, not information. There's going to be a lot of information. I tell you this, that you will be overwhelmed with the information that's going to come at you today. So if you focus on the information and you want every detail, that's not going to work. You will literally get overwhelmed. Focus on the insights. What are the aha moments? What's really ringing the bell inside? And you go, oh, that's a bit of wisdom. That's something I could use. That's really what I'd love you to focus on. Does that make sense? Yeah? And at the end, I'll give you a way forward. What I would like from you is to be really present, to be really participative, because the only failure is a failure to participate. Thank you. Be open-minded. So really, have a think about things as if you've left your entire world out there, your entire problems out there, and start to look with the mind of possibilities. Start to look at things differently. And I want you to have fun. The faces look so somber. I want you to have fun. We're going to have some fun today, all right? Yeah. All right. So the overview is we're going to go through 7 things, yeah? Strategy, marketing, sales, mindset, leadership, growth, future focus. Now I'm going to do this as quickly as I can. Each section is a little Q&A at the end. And I want to take you through these 7 shifts today. Is that all right? Cool, let's get going, right? So the first one is strategy. Now, I need, this is where it gets serious, by the way. It gets really serious. I need 2 people at the front, please. Pardon? Could you join me? Oh, you lost your voice. I need a voice, though. Yeah. Yeah, come, Michael. Oh, Michael. Michael, yeah, perfect. Come on. One more person, please. One volunteer. Come on, Sam. Oh, hang on. Yeah, come, Cam.
Sam.
You reckon?
Sam's got a big voice.
He's got a big beard. Yeah.
Big voice.
Yeah, he does. You've got a big voice too. All right, so I'd like you to do an experiment. So you stand on that side, you stand on that side. You're going to be reading from the screen, right? So this is an Alice in Wonderland scene, right? Who wants to be Alice?
Me.
All right. So who's the cat? Yeah, all right. All right, so Alice goes first. Alice's words are in white, right? Let's go.
Would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here?
That depends a good deal on where you want to get to.
I don't care where I go.
Could you read that again, right?
I don't much care where.
Then it doesn't matter which way you go.
Excellent, thank you. Let's acknowledge them, thank you. Right, of course, that's from Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, right? There's quite a bit of truth in there, isn't it? Because, you know, it's almost like, imagine you're out walking and you've got your suitcases with you, you've got your partner with you, your kids are carrying suitcases and they're left behind if you have kids. And then you're just wandering around with these suitcases on your head and you go, where are we going? And your partner goes, oh, I thought we were going on a holiday. But where is it? Where is that holiday to? And no one knows what's happening. So, do you know we do this in business? We kind of just get started and we get somewhere. We're like, how did we get here? And then we just go, oh, well, we'll just carry on from here, and we end up somewhere else. So without the strategy of where we're going, we have no direction. Does that make sense? So how do we create strategy? If we carry along the past trajectory, we end up at the present moment. Yeah? And generally what we do in business, where do we get our future projections from? The past. We look at the numbers, right? We go, this is how it's been performing, so this is how it's going to perform in the future. So the past creates the present creates the future. And generally we're always looking to the past to guide us about what's going to happen. Now, unless we make a big change, the future is going to look exactly like the past. And this is the big change that we need to do. I'm going to invite you to do an exercise, right? So if you could stand up and find yourself some space. Excellent. And make sure you've got some clear space ahead of you. Just facing ahead of you. Yeah, wonderful. Now imagine that you're walking into your own future and there's a line in front of you moving into your future. Yeah? And imagine that in that future is next month and then the month after, and you've got other things planned, maybe for Christmas and then for next year. So that's on the line ahead of you. Yeah? So if you could just imagine that for a minute. Yeah? Everyone there? Right. So what I'd like you to do now is turn around and face your past. Excellent, thank you. Now, would you like to walk backwards into your future? How does it feel? Does it feel comfortable? It feels horrible, right? It's like going into the unknown because you're moving into the future, but your only focus is on the past. Great, thank you. Please take your seats. Thank you. Oh! The coffee machine wants to go to the past as well. So what I'd like is that today we create this inflection point, because we need to create a big input into where we're heading. Otherwise, we're going to end up exactly where we were last year. You know? It'll increase a little bit, your revenues will increase, or whatever the improvements will be, they'll be incremental. But I'm going to show you today how to make them really big. Yeah? So what creates outcomes? The cat. Does that cat look nice and comfortable? Yeah? The cats create outcomes. So there's a cat sleeping, right? I really love this image. So what happens with us is, let's say you're roaming around your house and suddenly you go, oh, I'm feeling tired. And then you have the thought, I'm really tired. So you end up going to bed, taking a rest. But what's actually happened is, and this is what research shows, is that we have this quick kind of flash within us that says, go to bed. And we're not even aware of it. It's really quick, it comes from the subconscious. And then we start to feel tired. And that's when we become aware of it. That suddenly we start to feel tired and we have the thought, I'm tired. So we end up going to bed. What's really happened is we're ruled by those hidden intentions. And they're hidden because we don't see them. It was actually our intention to go to bed, but we convinced ourselves to go to bed by feeling tired. Our intention made us feel tired. So imagine that we're roaming around the house and we're tired and there's a fire outside and we have to deal with it. Would you feel tired? Your intention becomes to deal with the fire. So the intention creates our feeling, creates our state. But we get fooled because we're not aware how quickly it's happening. So what happens when we have default past intentions is we're going to have default future results. Nothing's going to change because those intentions are hidden within us. Where you are at right now, where we're all at in our lives, in our businesses, it's because of our intentions. It's because we actually intend to be here. These are the results we subconsciously want. And until we start playing with that and changing that, we don't get different ones. We actually have to play with the stuff that's hidden in order for things to change. And that's what creates designed future results, is when we design what our intention is. Does that make sense? Yeah, right. So we're talking about strategy, right, in business. I'm going to link that to intentions very shortly. Right? So what Carl Jung said, a man much cleverer than me. Who's heard of Carl Jung? Wonderful, yeah, pretty much everyone. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you'll call it fate. And that's what we do. We just carry on plodding along, accepting the results we're getting without realizing that we are causing them in the first place. So clarity of intention is the key. Getting really clear on intentions. Yeah? That's what strategy in business is about, is setting intentions so clearly that they become inevitable outcomes. So what creates outcomes? It's a question.
Action.
Action. Love that. Anyone? Something else? Action does create outcomes. Something else does too. Yeah, planning. Yeah. Okay. So my formula is outcomes are intentions plus execution. If you get your intentions right, those hidden intentions that are driving your life and your business, and you execute them really, really well, you're going to get what you want. But you've got to get clear on what you want first, because otherwise what you're doing is executing to a hidden intention without being aware of it. Make sense? Cool. All right. So what is a business strategy? A business strategy contains a whole bunch of stuff. Who's done a business strategy before for their business? Excellent. Cool. And who hasn't? Who hasn't yet? All my clients. Love that. All right. So business strategy has a whole bunch of things in it, yeah, to define where you want to go. And this table, I've just put this together as a table of contents, but you can document this in a really detailed way. Photos being taken. Yeah. And we have a document which contains your vision, your mission, your marketing plan, your strategy, your partnerships. It details all of that. But together with that, we do a big numerical analysis. Right? And this is a bunch of assumptions that you can make about your business. And you put them in as leverage points to change things in your business. This is going to make sense later. And so this is something that myself and a guy who works for me on my team did for a fictional company. showing how the past performance was there, but if we put in certain leverage points, we could get the revenue up from about $1 million to about 6 million within 9 years, 8 or 9 years. Yeah? I'm going to show you how this works later. I'm just putting this up there to kind of give you an idea of what a good business strategy would contain. Okay? And the most important thing is all that information, all that data, you can put into dashboards so that you can have a very quick, easy way to look at it. Basically, no strategy, no outcomes. Yeah? Get strategic with your business. We all need to do that. I need to do that too. But the more strategic we can get, and the more clear we can get about our strategy, the better our outcomes are going to be. It's got to be future focused, compelling, and really motivating. And it's possible to do that by creating the strategy and creating the accountability around it that you really want to see to achieve the results you want. Does that make sense? Anyone got a really compelling strategy that's driving them forward at the moment? Deborah does? Thank you. Rachel half does?
I give most of my workload to Sarah.
That's a very compelling strategy, yeah. I know she loves it too. I never hear about that. That's never a complaint. So let's do a little strategy scorecard. What I'd love you to do now is to grab your notebooks. I've given each one of you a notebook. And go to the last page, please. And write down 1, the number 1, and strategy. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. And basically the answer is on strategies whether you have or not done all these things, right? So it's going to be a yes or no answer. So write down 1, strategy, and then I'm going to ask you a few questions and see whether you've got all of this happening in your life and your business. Ready? All right. So you have a clear and compelling documented future-based strategy which draws you towards your desired outcomes. You have complete clarity on your future desired numbers for the next year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, including revenue, profits, cash flow, investments, finance. You have a solid plan for the achievement of these business financial objectives. You have complete understanding of your business purpose, vision, mission, value proposition. And you have a dashboard to track projections against actuals, which you visit every month and stay accountable to progress. So the answer is simple. It's either a yes or a no. Yeah, and it's 1 yes or 1 no, right? Cool, we're gonna move on. If anyone wants this from the slides later, as I see if you're trying to write stuff down, just let me know and I'll sort that out for you, okay? Cool, so we're done with strategy. Any questions? No. All right. Now we're going to move on to marketing. Marketing is a bit heavy. Yeah? This section, I have to say, there's a lot in it. Right? So I'm going to run through it as quickly as possible. If you need to stop me, just raise your hand. I am going faster than I normally would go. Yeah. All right. Why is marketing important? Come on, business owners.
To be seen.
To be seen. Yeah. What else?
Find new people.
Sorry.
Find new people.
Find new people.
Amplify your message.
Amplify your message.
To promote your product and service.
Promote product service. Yeah. Richard.
To let people know about your stuff.
To let people know about your staff? Stuff, yeah. All right. Marketing generates leads. Yeah, leads come from marketing. That's how people come to know about you, come into your business. Yeah. So we've got 2 different types of marketing. One is outbound, one is inbound. What's an example of outbound marketing? I know someone in here does it really well, and I hate doing it. Cold calling. Guess who loves it? Come on, stand up. Gary loves it. Gary, who you saw earlier, he loves cold calling. Tells me about it all the time. I'm like, oh my God, you're joking me. And what's an example of inbound marketing?
Lead generation.
Yeah, when someone's seen your stuff and end up coming to an event. Yeah. All right, cool. So in terms of marketing, the reason I put these slides up is because a few people had asked that they wanted some ideas about marketing. So I'm just setting the scene, and then we're going to get into the second part of it, which is about client attraction. So in terms of marketing, all your messaging, your website, your socials, everything, there's a particular formula to follow, which brings in really good results. And I know we've got a few marketers in the room. So that formula is? attention. Then you grab their interest. So the first thing is the attention, right? You holler out and people go, oh, okay. And then they find your message interesting. And then they have a desire to act on it. And then they take some action, which is how you end up with leads. So in terms of marketing communication, designing it around grabbing their attention, giving them something of interest that compels them, raises their desire, and then they take an action, is a great little formula about how to develop your messaging. And in terms of how your messaging is structured, business to business and business to consumer messaging needs to be different. Yeah? All right, cool. So everyone's heard of sales funnels, yeah? Over here. Anyone not heard of sales funnel? Everyone knows nowadays, right? Cool. So a sales funnel brings people into your business when you have leads, you turn them into inquiries, then you qualify them, you send them a proposal, some conversion happens, and then you get a sale. Make sense? So if your leads are 100%, like you've got, 1,000 leads, by the time they turn into sales, that number has dwindled, right? So what I'm showing here is 100% of your leads lead to X dollars of revenue. Who tracks their numbers so they can work this out? Yeah? People, great, excellent. Right. So if you have X dollars and you know that you spent Y dollars getting those leads, you've got this formula for working out how your business is actually a marketing machine, a system, right? Basically, if you work out your cost per lead and cost per customer, this is the very basic stuff that we need to be doing, you can work out how much it costs you to buy a customer. So let's say your average sale value is $1,000 and you can buy a customer for $100. Is that a good deal? Pretty good deal, right? Yeah. So knowing this becomes a real lever in your business, because if you can start to improve how much it costs you to get leads or how much your average sale is, you can really impact your revenue and profitability. Does everyone see that? Yeah, cool. So what I'm getting at there is your marketing needs a system. And by system, I mean it needs to be automated as much as possible, and it needs to be understood in terms of the numbers that go behind everything. All right. Second part of this is, how can I become a client attraction magnet? All right. So the team is going to go around and place some cards, playing cards on the table. In front of you, please don't pick up your card. They should be face down. Okay? And I'm going to just refer to them in a little bit. Excellent. So how can I become a client attraction magnet? I'm going to give you two key ideas today, right? What do we see on the screen? What's happening here? One person at the front, yeah. Running. One person at the front. So when we get into business, we're told we must beat the competition. That's kind of the formula, the mindset with which we enter business. And when you talk, in business lingo, competition is a large part of it. That we're going into this market and we've got to compete so that we get our share. Okay? Now, why should we compete for business? Why is it necessary to? Because I think we really start making a difference when we stop believing that old bullshit. Why does it make sense to compete for business?
Yeah, I was with it.
It doesn't? Doesn't? Who believes we need to compete for business? Right? So there's a few. Yeah. What's the option?
Create your own business.
Create your own business, yeah.
Be different.
There we go. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Competition comes from a scarcity mindset, right? There's only so many resources, so we've got to fight for them. It's a pretty terrible way to be in business, because it's always stressful then. We're always trying to compete with others, beat others, and we think that in our minds what happens is if someone else has won a customer or has got the deal, then we've lost. And there's a lot of stress around that. It's a pretty horrible way to be. So this is what the business world looks like. There's a whole bunch of people in there, all looking the same, going after the same market, going after the same customers. Yeah, thinking they have to fight, they have to compete. There's more opportunity outside. What we need to do is think differently. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple of things now. Right? In competition, we always want to be better than the rest. That's what we're told. In competition is always about being better. So think about a race. Who's the best runner is going to win, right? The rest are losers. The rest don't win. There's one winner. He's the best. She's the best. Hello, welcome Skills. Good to see you. Everyone acknowledge Skills. You singing for us, bro?
What is that?
You singing for us?
Up to you.
Cool, thank you. So only the best win. But what if, exactly as Rachel said, we don't focus on being better? Because there can only be one winner. And better is also subjective in business. But focus on being different. There's this lovely quote here. Have you read Sally Hogshead's stuff, Rachel? Ah, okay, right. If there's something to write down tonight, it's that this book called Fascinate. The book is called Fascinate by Sally Hogshead. Do yourselves a favor, get that book. It will change the way you think about your brand and marketing yourself. So she says, different is better than better. Different doesn't try to turn you into something else. Different allows you to highlight the singular traits you already have within you. You aren't necessarily better than your competition, especially in your client's eyes. They're subjective. They'll find certain things, they'll go with the people or the solution that most gels with them. So being better than everyone is simply not possible. It's not possible. It's an impossibility. It's a false belief we've been programmed with. But you are already different. I made this mistake a long time in my life, thinking I needed to be like everyone else because that's what the formula was, and I thought that's what the formula for success was. Bullshit. Bullshit. And this applies to all of us. Hmm?
You go back.
Go back? Yeah, sure. Who you are is the greatest differentiator you've ever had. Oh, lots of cameras coming out. That's cool. Good to see. You know what the problem is, right? We grow up believing we're not good enough. We take on those horrible false beliefs, and then we don't trust who we are. But the gold, the gems, the real juice is actually in who we are. And when we discover that and bring it out, and we bring it out unashamedly, and we stand in our true authenticity, our true vulnerable power, that's when magic happens. Trying to be like someone else or trying to outdo your competition, that's a waste of energy. All right, cool. So, different is better than better. Get Sally Hogshead's book. It will really change the way you think about yourself. What do you guys see there on that screen? Huh? A dot? You don't see all the white space? You're the artist. All right. See, here's the thing. Our brains are programmed to pick up differences. Our brains are programmed to pick up differences. Yeah? So when something's different, the brain automatically goes there. What do you think happens to the market's brain when you're different?
Notice you.
They notice you. They start listening to you. They start seeing something special about you because you're prepared to be you. You're prepared to bring you to the table rather than hide behind products or marketing literature. Authenticity is the greatest power. So we're going to do a little exercise now. You all have playing cards. Yeah? So don't pick them up yet. What I want you to do is when you pick it up, can I have a playing card? Do we have one here? Thank you. What I want you to do when you pick it up is to pick it, not look at it, but put it on your head like that. Right? Go ahead. Don't look at it, put it on your head. All right, good. Now look at the people besides you, yeah? And can you work out if you're better than them or not in terms of your playing card? Is your card higher than them or not? Can't tell, right? Having fun? Oh, I see some high cards back there. All right. When we don't acknowledge our authenticity, this is how we go through life. Yeah. Right? You see, there's this lovely saying. You can put your cards down now if you want to. I'm going to leave mine here for a bit. You want to get a photo? Or you got some video going on? This is a saying I really love. You can't read the label from inside the jar. You can't read the label from inside the jar. That's why we are not really able to work out what our value is, because we can't see it. Other people can. And we always look outside of ourselves and we can see other people's value and we compare our insides to them and we go, well, I'm falling short. That's not true, right? Is it true? Who feels lesser than other people? No, actually, don't raise your hand. Someone's already there. It's like, I'm like, that's a bit much. Yeah. But for a long time in my life, I felt lesser. A long time. And it was only when that changed that a lot really shifted. And I really encourage, that's one of the things I work with my clients a lot, is I've never met a single person, we're going to go into beliefs later, I've never met a single person who didn't have the belief I'm not enough when we started working together. And that's a falsity that they've been programmed with. So you can't read the label from inside the jar unless you have help. So the key message here is really distill who you are into your brand. Make sense? Does it make sense, Rachel? Right. So give me those two key ideas, right? Oh, sorry, one key idea. We're going to go into the next one. Right. So how do you view your business? And this is the traditional way people look at their business, right? There's me, there's my team, my products, my systems, my services around me, and then there's my customers out there. So if I sit here and I do the right things, yeah, by providing services, etc., I'm going to serve my customers. So most people think about their business like this. My business is for me, it exists for me and serves my purposes. My business should bring me money. It should be profitable. Oh, this month I haven't made much revenue, so I'm struggling. Oh, my business is down. And we start to think from it very much from a me-centric point of view. It's kind of the traditional way we are taught to think about it, and everyone else thinks like that, so we go, well, that's the way to think about it. We have it completely wrong. So, anyone recognize this guy on the screen? No. Anyone recognize this guy on the screen? All right. So the guy on the right is someone who trained me. A little while ago, completed a certification with him in leadership coaching. His name is John Mattone, and he's the world's #1 executive coach. He's the most sought after executive coach in the world. And his certification is considered the best in the world, like of the highest standard in leadership coaching and executive coaching. He was Steve Jobs' coach. So he's really highly sought after. And this is what Steve Jobs had to say. You got to start with the customer experience and work backwards to the technology. You can't start with the technology and try to figure out where you're going to try and sell it. There's a great video on YouTube with Steve Jobs in it when someone's heckling him and he goes into this and he actually, it's someone at Apple who's heckling him and he takes a step back It's a full room. It's one of the keynotes. He stops for a while, sits down, has some water, and then he talks about the customer experience. So the guy who was heckling him was talking about the technology, improving the technology, and Steve says, "You got it completely wrong. You're not thinking of the customer." That's why Apple is so great. Because Apple, we know what they believe in. Think different. We know what they're about. And they put the customer experience first. I remember when I was learning computers, when I was a young man, I was at uni, and I used to have to play with the Windows computers, and the lettering was all shitty and pixelated and stuff. And the first time I used an Apple computer, even in those days, I was like, whoa, this is really nice. Everything feels good. It has a whole different feel about it, Of course, Apple went through its ups and downs, but really, they put the customer in the center. So this is how we need to think of our businesses. If you want to become a client attraction magnet, your life is no longer about you. Your business is no longer about you. Forget it. You put the customer in the center. You wrap your systems, your product, your team, your services around your customer. And you come last. You're the one who sits around it all, making sure your customer is relentlessly served. Is that a bit of a shift? Can you see how this makes sense? Can you see what would shift in your business if you changed to this thinking? If you have already, that's great. That's awesome. But if you live this mantra that your business is, this is the old mantra. My business is for me, exists for me, and serves my purposes. To my business exists because my customer exists. And my business serves my customers. That is the reason for it. If you didn't have any customers, would you have a business? You'd still have you though, right? So you shouldn't be at the center of it anyway, right? Cool. Our businesses exist solely to solve our customers' problems. Get closer than ever to your customers. Wonderful. So those are the two key ideas. And let's do a quick marketing scorecard. It's the same thing, right at the back, right number 2. Everyone's into it now, very quickly. So again, it's a yes or no answer. You have a complete understanding of your lead generation metrics, your cost per lead, your cost per customer, and all the percentage conversion ratios to turn a lead into a sale. You have a repeatable and reliable marketing system with predictable results to generate leads and convert them to sales. You have a unique brand that is easily recognizable and speaks to how you are different, so you never have to compete with others. And you have a business that is designed completely around your customer experience and expends energy on fully understanding your customers' needs and solving their problems. So it's a yes or a no.
Nothing in between.
Nothing in between. There's no maybes.
Can you say yes, Mike?
It's a yes or no.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
In the section where you're saying your business is really relatable around your whole, your whole customer experience, how do you discern boundaries and not give away your whole life versus running your business around your customer?
Sure, I'll answer very quickly, and then we can go into it in detail later on if you want, right? So in terms of boundaries, if you're in your business and you're struggling with boundaries, you've already got a problem, whether your customer is at the center of it or not. You've already got a problem. So the problem is really with us as opposed to whether our customers are the center of our business or not. Putting our customer at the center of the business actually will alleviate that a lot. Yeah. It's when we're at the center of our business that we have problems, because we think I am my business. We have an identity issue. Yeah. Well, welcome. Right. Any questions? No questions. We move on to the next part, sales. We'll do this, then we'll have a break, right? Cool. Okay. So Right. Want to do a little exercise with you again. So, who here is good at sales? Ah, excellent. Ah, quite a few. Hands up. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see that. All right. So I'd like you all to pick up your pens and stand up and find yourselves one partner. Someone you don't know or you haven't worked with. Someone you don't know very well. All right. Everyone got someone? Can I hear a yay? Yay. Yay, okay. So I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds, right? The idea is whoever you're with, right? Whoever you're with, you've got to sell them your pen. Okay? Within 30 seconds. So if you haven't picked up your pen, pick it up. You can't forcibly take it from them. But you got to sell them your pen, right? So the winner is whoever puts up 2 pens. Right? 30 seconds starting now. Let's go. Sell them your pen. All right, 15 seconds to go. Come on, who's winning here? Who's winning? Who's winning? All right, time up. Time up, time up, time up. Stop, 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 stop. Who won? Ah, could you come to the front? Anyone else win? Who won? All right, so just wait here for a second. Did you win? Oh, come to the front. Okay. How did you find that experience? You can go back to your seats now, by the way. It's cool. Yeah, yeah, there wasn't enough, there's never enough time. There's never enough time. Yeah. All right. So who tried really hard to sell their pen to the other person? Who really gave it their all, yeah? And didn't happen, they didn't take it?
No, we sold it both times.
Yeah? Cool. So generally when we want to sell, we go out there and we start talking about our stuff and we start going, oh, here we go, look how good it is, this, that, and the other, and we start trying to force people. We think that's what sales is. Yeah? What did you guys do?
I was offered $1 million. This pen would write the check for $1 million, and I said, I don't want 1 million, I want 2.
Nice, so you took both. Yeah. So you sold him the pen?
Yeah.
I said that he's going to write his $1 million check.
Brilliant. Yeah? Yeah. All right, it's one way to do it. How did you do it?
I asked Susan if she would rather write with pen or with blood.
Pen or blood? Oh, okay. That's cool.
I said, would you like black onyx and pure gold, the only pen in the world? And you said, cool.
You guys know each other, right?
No.
Oh, wow, okay. Deborah?
I said it's free, and after this it's going to be worth a lot. And this is like a one-off occasion. Afterwards, you're going to be so famous. You've got it. Bardeep, it's all about you, your brand.
Oh, right, okay. So, who was the sucker? Okay, thank you all. Thank you. All right, everyone, let's acknowledge them. So, I'll play this game with my wife, actually. Grab a pen. All right, this is my lovely wife, Chooch, if you haven't met her before. We're going to do the pen game in a different way. Here. Can I have yours? Thank you. Love you. Got a pen, right? We're both successful. We're both successful. Was there any effort involved? Ooh, no, we didn't do any of that 30 seconds here. It's onyx, it's gold. It's come out of someone's palace. None of that. And that's where we miss the point. Sales is a value exchange. We have been told to play win-lose. Ryan, haven't we been told to play win-lose all our lives?
Yes.
Yeah. Huh? I've got to win, so I've got to sell that. I've got to get the whatever for it. Are we thinking about our customer? We don't give a shit about them, do we? We just want their money. See, that mentality, that's the mentality we're taught to have. This is what we need to think. And actually, we need to think of a bigger win for our customer than us. Add more value to them than they think we can offer. The value exchange has to be immensely in their favor. See, in that funnel, all the green stuff and a little bit of the inquiry stuff, that's all sales, right? That's not really marketing, that's all sales. So it forms the most important part of our business, because without selling, our business can't function. Yeah? Why does your business exist? Why does our business exist? We went over this just now. Someone's going to shout it out. To serve our customer. It's not hard to help them solve their problem. If we're relentlessly focused on our customer and we understand them better than we understand us, our value is to solve their problem. Again, same quote, get closer than ever to your customers, so close that you tell them what they need before they realize it. What we need to do is become the expert in our customers' problems. The expert. That's what we should be relentlessly focused on. And the expert in understanding the value of what the solution is worth to them. When we price things, we're taught, okay, do it by cost, right? It's cost this much, add a little margin. But our customer understands value. Their problem, generally, bad problems, big problems, they're prepared to pay a lot for them. Right? Someone in this room is a neurosurgeon, and if you have a brain problem, pay a lot of money, go there and get that sorted out, because it's a big problem, right? A big value to it as well. So if we do it by, okay, it's just hours, these many hours for this many dollars, all we're doing is selling our labor. That's not the way to operate. Your customer, when they understand the value and they understand that you understand their problem, they're prepared to pay a lot more than you might think they're going to pay. So the people in this room who are really good at sales, they already know this. I know they know this. Yeah? Does that help? The other thing we really need to do is become the expert in communicating the value in their language, not in our language, you know, not in our language, in their language. We need to understand them so well that we're actually speaking like them. Cool. What is the core requirement for sale? The one thing people need before they buy from you.
Trust.
Yeah. Everyone's in the money, right? So the key to sales is build relationships. Trusting relationships. Understand the value exchange, the value you're providing, and ensure that it's a win-win situation. If you can turn these levers in your business, in your life, things turn around, things change. For effortless sales, selflessly serve your customer, selflessly. Give them so much value that they'll open their arms for you. And the sales happens by itself. We don't need to sell a thing. It's just solving the problem. Who likes that? Oh, a couple of people do. No one else? Who hates it? Right. So honestly, if you're in business, is this how you're behaving? Yeah? There's a few nods going on there. Yeah. Because that's the secret. It's the secret to sales and success. And you'll notice that between people. Those that really care for their customers.
Really resolve, talk about problems, understanding what they need, and talk about solutions, and just be very open.
Yeah. You build trust.
Take a lot of effort.
Totally, totally. And even more so because there's so many sharks in the market, right? Even more so, every industry. Yeah. But what's the other option? Lynch them, steal the pen,
They lie.
lie, cheat. Nice short-term strategies, yeah. I can't sleep at night doing that. Yeah. All right, so for repeat sales, it's obvious we build the relationships, build a client base, and they keep coming back. Yeah. So we'll do the sales scorecard, then we'll have a break. Yeah. Oh, everyone's moving on the scorecards. I'm liking that. 3. So again, yes or no? You have a better understanding of your customers' problems than they do. You have quantified the value of the solution of their problem and understand your value proposition. You have no problem selling to your customer. You have the ability to effectively communicate and demonstrate the value of your solution in the customer's language. You have built strong relationships with your clients and generate regular repeat business. You have systems that actively nurture your existing client relationships to remain top of mind. And you have a perpetual win-win mindset when it comes to your customers. Yes or no? One answer. Yeah? And we'll move on. All right, sales is done. Let's have a 10-minute break. Oh, a few yawns going on. Great. All right, 10 minutes. Thank you. All right, let's move on to leadership. This is one of my favorite topics, leadership. I just totally geek out on this, right? So you met this guy, the NLP guy, yeah, Alistair, awesome. You met this guy, John Mattone, Steve Jobs' coach, executive coach. I'll introduce you with number 3. Number 3 is this guy in the middle, Papa John Maxwell. John Maxwell is considered the world's foremost leadership authority. He's written, I don't know, 21, 25 books, something like that. He's got a global organization of 50,000, what he calls leaders, who are coaches, mentors, trainers, and they go around the world making lots of change in organizations, in social institutions, and for good the world over. He's considered the world's foremost leadership expert. I trained with him as well last year, and I totally enjoyed it. He's got a great leadership program, and yeah, he's a leadership legend in the world. If you're a Christian, you would have heard of him. Yeah, right. So what is leadership? Question for all of you. What's your definition? Sorry?
For me, it's like direction.
Direction?
Making other people leaders.
Making other people leaders. Someone's been reading that. Anything else? Push people up the hill. Kick them if you have to. Go behind them with some batteries. Huh?
Leading from the front, lead up the hill.
Lead up the hill.
Someone who can inspire.
Someone who can inspire, inspiration, yeah. Yeah.
Someone who can put their needs and wants at the back of everyone else.
Leaders eat last. Put your needs behind others. Yeah, awesome. All right, so here's a thought. What's management versus leadership? So all through the 70s, 80s, there was a big management push, right? It's all about management consulting, get your management right, etc. Why are we talking about leadership so much nowadays when it's really corporates, businesses, it's all about management? What's the difference between management and leadership? Yeah, Deborah.
I think the world needs more creativity and solutions now, so we need all our team members to be clear about, so actually each one has to be a leader. They're not little robots.
They're not little robots, yeah. Excellent, they have to be leaders. Here's the thing, managers focus on tasks. Leaders develop people. Leaders develop people. Any business, for it to become successful, needs leadership. So here's another question, how do you develop leadership? Responsibility, yeah. You do a lot of responsibility, accountability. You make sure the expectations are well managed. What else? Sorry? You inspire? Yeah, you inspire, totally. All right, cool. Sorry? Encourage, yeah. Sometimes discourage. So what does a leadership coach do? I'm just going to quickly run through this because leadership development is actually very strategic and very scientific. It can be done in a very different way than just going, I've got to inspire this person. There's a whole bunch of things that we do around helping people develop as leaders. So John Mattone, #1 executive coach, prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. So he developed a system where, you don't need to really read everything here. The first part of a leadership coaching engagement is to give a whole bunch of assessments to the person or to the team or to the entire culture in a company, everyone in the company. And to start from there to understand what the problems are, what the issues are. So it's a measurement of what's going on from a leadership perspective. Without the measurement, you don't know what to solve. It's like going to a doctor and the doctor just writes you a script and they haven't talked to you. So the first thing to do is actually do a full prescription. So the process is you diagnose, you assess, you plan, you prescribe, you support the change in the person or the team or the culture, and then you measure the success. Right? And then you go back. So Steve Jobs, when he engaged with John Mattone, they did the John Mattone's own proprietary assessment. It's called the Mattone Leadership Enneagram Inventory. It's a mouthful. All of John Mattone's stuff is a massive mouthful, and I just love their acronyms. But this assessment is awesome. It's so different from a DISC. Everyone heard of DISC? Yeah, DISC, or even the Myers-Briggs, in that it picks up on 9 key leadership traits, and not only shows you which is your predominant trait, your predominant style, but how active it is in you, how well you're using it. Because if you're not using it well, you're actually degrading and causing damage to yourself and others. So he, using this MLEI, assessed people all over the world. I think we've got 25,000 people now in the database, and they're all top performers. So when I did this, there's a rating scale, and I'm rated there against Steve Jobs. Yeah, I fell short. So he scored one of the highest for creativity on that scale. One of the highest I've ever had. It's pretty amazing, yeah. So anyway, there are these assessments for individuals, for teams, for cultures, so that we actually assess the problem, because leadership development is strategic. It's not just about wishy-washy, oh yeah, let's talk about inspiring others. Yeah, there's some of that. But it's done in a very scientific way to make sure that we got the results. Because, these corporates, the people who pay for this coaching, like John Mattone, a 3-month engagement with him is $250,000 US. So he deals with the top of the top. And the thing is, with that $250,000 US, those big corporates are getting a massive return because their revenue and profitability is going up. So they're happy to pay that. So it's about selling by value. But 3 months, $250,000 US, yeah. That's the deal, right? And he says people don't buy coaching. They invest in results. It's about the results we're going to get. So when you're thinking about going with a coach, what are the results you're investing in? Okay. Don't buy the coaching. What are the results you want? Because a coach will help you get there faster, easier, and better. That's what good coaches do. That's what I help my clients do. All right, so from a John Maxwell perspective, he's got 5 levels of leadership. And I like this because it gives us a little scale about, our own kind of leadership styles. So the first, most lowest kind of leadership is positional. I am the boss, or I am the general. I'm the commander, you go and do this. So people follow you because they have to. This is management in the 80s. Typical, And then the next is permission. People follow you because they want to, they like you. There's something about you that they're enjoying. The next is production. They follow you because of what you do. And then when you start developing people, they follow you because of what it does to them, how they transform as a result. And the pinnacle of it is they just follow you because of who you are. That's where John Maxwell has got to. That's why he's got global followers. But this is aspirational for us. Where are we sitting on this scale? So I know in the early part of my career, I was very positional. And I've had to learn how to move upwards. Oh, hang on. Oh, I thought that was me. Right. So there's an African saying that goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. Anyone at the back want to pipe up?
If you want to go far, go with friends.
Yeah, go together. Yeah. Yeah. Simon Sinek said this. He said this really well. Have you heard of Simon Sinek?
Yeah.
Yeah. Start with why, that guy? Failure we can do alone. Success always takes help. You cannot get successful just doing it on your own. That's the slog, that's the struggle. Some good reactions going on the back. So just quickly, Maxwell says, a leader who develops people adds. So when you're developing your people, you're adding to your team. You're just adding to their capability. But if you develop leaders, you multiply because they're going to develop others under them. So when we talk about leverage and scale, we need to develop leaders. And Steve Jobs said a small team of A+ players can run circles around a giant team. The single biggest way to impact an organization is leadership development. It is the key to success, the absolute key. Right. So we can develop individuals, teams, entire cultures. Right, leadership scorecard, very quickly. 5. So you have a strategic and scientific way to develop your leadership capabilities. You have an accurate assessment of your leadership capabilities, maturity, and derailers. Derailers are when you have traits that are working against you, and you know what they are. You have undertaken assessments of your strengths, communication styles, personality profiles. You know what to develop. You have the initiative and capability to develop leaders within your team or business, and you actively undertake activities to do so. You have a leadership focus when you develop people rather than focus on managing tasks. Yes or no? Easy, let's move on. Any questions? My hand's cramping. The growth, all right. So section 6 is growth. Who knows this? What that is? What is it? Jack and the beanstalk. That beanstalk grew all the way to the sky. Now, when we think of growth, we think, oh, I want to grow as much as possible. And I think that's entirely bullshit. That's entirely bullshit. Because growth needs to be sustainable. Must be sustainable. See, your body was once a little baby, right? And it's grown and it's become what it is now, its height and everything. What if it didn't stop growing? What if it was uncontrollable and it just carried on? Would that be healthy? Would it be sustainable? So people who build really massive organizations, they want to do that because that's the right level of growth for them. But in terms of us, in terms of what we want to do for our business, we've got to do it in a sustainable way so that it doesn't fall on itself. That beanstalk was never going to hit the sky. We know that's a story, right? But we believe in the fiction, sometimes, of infinite growth. So, how to grow a business? So let's say you have a business that has a revenue of 500,000. I'm just going to use some examples, and I'm going to go into some numbers now. Apologies if you don't like numbers. I see some frowns. What would a 10% revenue increase do? Who's good at numbers? Yeah, cool. How much will it grow by? 50,000, yeah. So the new revenue will be 550. The old one was 500, 50,000. That's an increase of 10%. And over 10 years, you would grow a business from 500,000, 10% a year, to 1.178 something million. And that's what the graph would look like. Now, how do you actually grow a business? What do you grow in order to grow that revenue?
Client base.
Client base, yeah.
Products.
Yourself.
Yeah, yourself.
Sales.
Yeah, sales, yeah.
Expansion, scaling.
Absolutely. So those are little levers within your business. You start tweaking those little levers. And who said this? Give me a lever long enough and I shall move the world. Plato. Plato was into ideas. He didn't think of levers. This was Archimedes. Archimedes is that, the flotation guy. So I used to work in the IT industry, and yeah. So if you pull a lever, you have a lever long enough, you can do wonders. I'm just going to show you how that works. So in your business, let's say you have these levers, which is very common for everyone. You have the number of customers you have, the number of sales or customers you have. You have the amount of the sale, the average amount, and you have the frequency of that. So how often that sale happens with that customer. So each of these is a lever. So let's say, what would a 10% increase do in the number of customers, the average amount of sale, and the frequency? So if we have revenue of 500K, and let's assume that those are the customers, just to make it simple. The average sale is $1,000, they buy once a year, and we have 500 customers, so we get that 500K. Yeah? Is that simple? Yeah? Cool. So let's say we increase those customers to 550, the frequency to 1.1, so we're doing a 10%, and the average sale, we move that up to 1.1. What would this do to the bottom line? The revenue will go to 665, right? So the leverage points multiply on each other. That is a 33% increase rather than just a 10. You see the difference there? So when we start to look at your business and start to tweak the levers, you can get massive growth if you know the right lever and what to do. The difference between those two businesses is that over 10 years. The second one gets to, I think, nearly 8 million. I can't even read it. Is it nearly 8 up there? Yeah, it's nearly 8 million, something like that. That's a big difference, right? So if we're thinking about our business in bottom line, oh, I've got to increase my revenue by 10%, we're thinking about it the wrong way. We've got to think about it, what leverage do I need to change? Does that make sense? So over 10 years, that was the difference between those two scenarios. Right? Growth comes from an application of leverage. And leverage is doing more with less. So ideally, we get to the stage where we can do everything with nothing. So what types of leverage are there? I gave you 3 there, but leverage exists in many, many forms. Right? There's financial, operational, increasing the efficiency of your processes, what goes on in your systems, human, innovation, and recently, even more so, intelligence. Intelligence is a massive, massive lever. And for business owners, I love to tell them this, cooperation is leverage. When we can build trust with each other to solve a customer's problem, that cooperation can build massive advantage. I see very little of it in a good form over here, cooperating together. So we end up with this struggle, and we're moving forward into the future. We apply a little lever point as we go along, change little things. That's how we end up building success. It's not about thinking about things linearly. So does that make sense? Do you see how this changes things? When we start looking inside a business, I actually look for the leverage points that are going to make a difference as opposed to just, well, increase your sales. All right. So that is what causes this inflection point that I'd like you to really understand today. That if you start to apply leverage, start to look under the hood of the business, that's what can change things in this massive way. There's no virtue in struggle. We're here to create successful outcomes. All right. Should we do a quick growth scorecard before we move on? Number 6, you have a clear understanding of the principles of leverage and how to apply them in your business. You have a detailed strategy and roadmap to grow your business from where you are now to where you need to be. You have a system to calculate your number of sales, frequency of sales, and average sale value and understand those in your business. You have complete clarity of all the leverage points in your business, and you have a future-based business model from which you can reverse engineer your leverage numbers. So you look at where you want to get to, and you reverse engineer what you need to change by how much today to get that future result. Make sense? Cool. All right, we're done with growth. Any questions? Who liked that? Yeah? Cool. There was some stuff that shifted there. Yeah, cool. All right. Right, we're going to move on to a future focus now. I'm going to do two parts here. It's very, very quick, actually. The first bit is that it's really important, if you're looking at the future, to have a compelling future that you're moving towards, because the rest is just numbers. Okay? But the compelling future is about what drives you. And I'll tell you this, when you become completely obsessed about your customer and solving their problems, the compelling future already exists. Because if you're in your business to do what you love and what you enjoy, it's about your customer, and you start giving of yourself to them, then there is no way you will not be motivated, that your future won't be compelling. The rest is about strict numbers and engineering the solution. Yeah? There was something Gandhi said that I thought of the other day. See, when I was younger, I wanted to do a lot of meditation and become really enlightened, and I wanted to be the guru of gurus, the top guy, like above Buddha. Buddha, who's that? It's Bud. So I was listening. Gandhi had this quote, and he said something to do with the best way to enlightenment is to lose yourself in the service of others. And I used to resist that because I think it was about me, right? And then the other day in the car, that came back to me, that quote, and I kind of went, actually, that's completely true. That's what it is. That's how I become empty of me in the service of others, get into flow, it all becomes enjoyable, get really motivated, and I do good in the world. That's the game. I've been playing it wrong all along because I had me at the center of my life. My life's not really about me. Oh, you don't like it when I said that. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example, right? Okay. So, flowers. Who loves flowers? Okay, cool. They're really important, aren't they? What function do flowers have?
Procreation.
Yeah, pollination. Without flowers, nothing happens in the world. We don't have plants that are growing. Pollination doesn't happen. Everything dies without the flowers, right? Flowers can't smell their own fragrance. They don't exist for themselves. It's about what they emanate into the world. And we're like that. We can't read the label from inside the jar, and we don't realize what our fragrance is, what change it's doing to the world when we think it's about us. Our purpose is not for us, it's about others. And that seriously changes our leadership and how we go about life. So, two parts of this. One is clarity of compelling future. The second is preparing for disruption. Ooh. Right. In terms of your compelling future, these are the things that I'd love for you to take away from today. Because these will really make a massive difference in your business, in your life. Design your destination, get very clear on those outcomes, set incredibly compelling intentions to get you there, because that'll change how you behave. You won't go and sleep in that bed. You'll get to work. Get a PhD in your customer and their problems. Become that client attraction magnet that you want to be. Hack your mindset. Make sure that the lies it tells you, you start recognizing as lies rather than truth. Lead yourself and others. Leadership starts with yourself. Put your leverage points in place in your business, and don't travel alone. Don't travel alone. Get help. Get the help and support you need in order to make your dreams real. All right, the second part of this is disruption. I'm quickly going to talk about this as well. I see a future that is going to significantly change for all of us. We're living in a bit of a bubble here right now. We think that this tsunami isn't coming. It's on the way. It's going to get here quick because we're moving away from the information age into the intelligence age now. Everyone's heard of AI now, right? Everyone's heard of ChatGPT. A few years ago, no one cared. AI, it sounds like it's come onto us very quickly, but AI has been around since the 50s. You know? And then solving chess problems, becoming a better chess player than the best in the world, and then AlphaGo. Who heard of AlphaGo, that game that the computer then beat the AlphaGo champion of the world? It's a Korean game, I think. It's much more complex than chess, anyway. But nowadays, with AI, computers can solve problems much better than us. Would you agree? They're going to be better drivers. They're better chess players. Yeah? Are they going to be better lawyers than us? No? You don't think so? You'll be using it to doing a lot of work, right? Yeah. Are they going to become better doctors or diagnosticians than the doctors we have? You know? AI will have millions, if not billions, of case studies. And your doctor would have 20, 30, 50. You know? In terms of doing radiology analysis.
One cousin is, I just want to give some good news because
Sure.
I'm very clear.
Yeah.
Okay, so my cousin, he's a radiologist,
Right.
he's a B, and he's telling me how many mistakes that I make every day.
Yeah.
And he's trying to explain to me, and he says that a primary school student effectiveness better than what the AI results is. So there is a bit of time and there's good news, and I do believe there won't be.
The thing is, it's learning and improving at a much faster rate than we can. Our brains are biological. They have a certain capacity. But with the scaling of intelligence and the amount of data we have, it's going to surpass us in all those fields. And kill the environment with all the energy it's taking, yeah. And then, it's going to solve the energy crisis. Anyway, right. Whatever you think about AI, what I'm mostly seeing is how it could disrupt humans' lives. Job displacement has already started happening. If it starts to do things better than we can, AI image generation, for photos, this, that, and the other, which it already is doing, and those jobs are being displaced. Even the physical jobs, the blue collar work, like building buildings, AI is now, they're designing buildings to be built by one person with a truck with, coming in with levers, and the whole thing is controlled mostly automatedly. So even builders, plumbers, electricians, all of this is going to be impacted. So if you think you're not going to be impacted by AI, that's cool, but it's yet. It's going to happen. We don't know quite how. How many of you are using AI in your businesses already? Yeah, great, see? And like 2 years ago, no one would have put their hand up. Yeah? Massive adoption going on already. So my concern is that if we have a human population who, from the industrial age, we've just been told that our purpose is to work and is to feed the economic machine. What happens to us if we don't understand what our purpose is beyond that when we're replaced, for instance? Right? And I don't want to be scaremongering, but I want to build awareness on this because I think people are missing the real point. Sure, AI is going to bring an opportunity. Sure, it's going to add trillions of dollars of value into the economy, they say. Do you think you and I are going to see those trillions of dollars? Yeah, thank you. Yeah. The billionaires are going to become trillionaires. That's what's going to happen. And those guys, they're already psychopaths. We're just products to them. You think we're going to see benefit? The tech companies who are going to benefit most from this don't actually care about you. So watch this space. Who would be interested in a full AI disruption talk? You'd be happy to come to that? All right, cool. So I'm thinking about doing this. This is a topic that's very close to my heart, and I'm seeing. I'm talking to some experts. I was in a conference in Bali a couple of weeks ago, which was a global speakers conference, and there were some people there who are doing a lot of AI research, and they speak globally on global stages about AI and what's going to happen. And I'm hooking up with them and talking to them, exchanging ideas. They're thought leaders in that space, and I really think that this is the space that I want to look at from a leadership perspective because it's going to massively impact the world. Yes, Richard?
I was just going to say, I've thought about this a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it gets back to what you were saying earlier, is we can recognise and service our clients properly, actually properly, then I don't think that we're going to be as affected by this technology. Then we can communicate, we can treat our customers like people, fix their problems, and not treat them as commodities. Then we can be more immune to this. I thought about this a whole lot.
Yeah.
You know, like in the world of photography, the mass market retouches and people who fix photos are getting wiped out by AI photo fixing. But people who give a shit, like the professional retouchers who service people's specific needs that I can't find, and they're incorporating the AI into what they do. So I think there's
Absolutely.
middle ground. I don't think it's all.
There is, but that middle ground is shifting very quickly.
I think you're right.
Yeah, and that's the real thing, is how quickly the capability is shifting.
Yeah, I think. Just saying, I think if we concentrate on our clients, we'll be right.
I agree. Even the guys I was speaking to, what they're really talking about is we're going to return to finally really valuing human connection. Yeah. We're really gonna start valuing it, because I think we've put that in the past. And like, that kind of like when I talk about the 80s mentality, when people are just, kicked around, we've forgotten how to be humans with each other. And it's almost like this is gonna force us to relearn that. Before we had an economy, humans had a purpose. They still had a purpose. It's different from today's purpose, but they had a purpose, right? So what we need to do through this is discover what our purpose is going to be in an AI world. How are we going to live in an AI world? And I think that's a fascinating topic. Yeah. Yes, Sam.
There was a book that was released at the start of this decade, so whatever 2020 to whatever it was, by Peter Diamandis and Stephen Kong, I forget his last name. But they worked with a bunch of futurists and predicted by the end of this decade that 40% of jobs that we know right now are going to become obsolete because of autonomy and AI.
Yeah, and I think that's a prudent estimate.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on. I don't want to do any more scaremongering. Yeah, Michael.
I think it's interesting though, so I think the AI will go super quick as it is, I agree.
Yeah.
But it's like some things like you were saying just then about how we all look at how we can factor it and use it in what we do at our level, because we're thinking in the old way. It's the very young people, it's different, because for them it's normal.
That's right,
So,
yeah.
and there will be kids being born now who will be getting 3 or 4 years old, where AI is as normal to them to use as an iPad is for a kid who was born.
Totally agreed.
In the last 15 years.
Totally agreed.
So that's going to make it different, and they will be in a different world almost to what you and I are in, because we're the old people looking back at how it used to work.
Totally. Also, okay, I don't want to go too deep into this because I'm going to do a talk separately, and I think if you guys are happy to attend that, I will blow your minds with this because of where it's going. See, one of the teasers for that is hybrid humans. That's coming, right? So, yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about this later. So, intelligence is the ultimate lever that's going to be applied in the world and needs to be applied already in your business. If you're not using AI, you're already behind. So get onto it. Yeah. So we'll have another session on AI. I'll put that out. That'll probably be a paid session, right? You guys be happy to attend that? Yeah, Gary?
But for anyone that's doubting how big AI topic is, I just challenge them to think about all the wonderful stuff you've spoken about tonight, and then which topic generated the most interest and communication and discussion. So it's a big thing.
It was strategy, right? That was the one, the really dry stuff. Really boring stuff. Okay. Just finish that with a little quote. This is Robert Kiyosaki. Financial leverage is the advantage the rich have over the poor and middle class because they're able to apply it. Intelligence is a lever. Watch this space. Right, future scorecard. This is the last scorecard. You have a clear and compelling vision of the future which draws you towards it, a complete understanding of how AI is going to impact your industry and work, and you are ahead of the wave, mastering the AI tools that are most relevant to you, and you are constantly adopting new ones, You have a solid plan in place for your business and your life for the inevitable AI economy disruption. You have created your purpose and identity that goes beyond what you do for work. So yes or no? Really easy. We're just on time. All right, let's do a quick scorecard tally, which is basically for each of these, it's one yes or one no. So point one, it's either one yes or one no. If you have one, if you were saying yes, yes, no, when I read out those questions, if you've got a no, it's a no. You don't have the full thing. All right? So do a quick tally, 1 to 7. Who has 7 yeses? You have 7 yeses? What, you've been smoking, buddy? You have 6? 5? Anyone got 4? 4, cool. 3? 3 at the back there. 2? Yeah. 1? Yeah. All right, cool, so we've got 1. Anyone got none? You want to own up? Yeah, someone's got none, cool. All right. It's cool. It's a starting point, man. We are where we're at, and we've got to start from there. The whole reason for doing that scorecard is to actually be really cruel and drive home that things need to change. And when things do start to change, we can move better. All right, could we put the feedback forms out, please? All right, this was my promise to you. Please don't start reading the feedback forms yet. They're just going to be placed there. I just need your attention a little bit more. My promise was that at the start. I think I've hit those points. I really listened to everyone in terms of feedback they gave me about what they wanted to go over, and I know some of the topics were dry, some were not. But I hope I've hit that point. I hope you've got a vision now for incredible success. You know how to create a compelling strategy, how to attract your clients, how to work on your mindset, how to enhance leadership, overcoming stress and procrastination, and how to balance your life and work, although we didn't go into that too much. So the 3 principles I'm just going to sum with that will shift your business. The first is clarity. The second is certainty. And the third is commitment. Clarity opens the possibility of where you want to go. Do you want me to go back, Michael? Okay, here you go. Hang on. So clarity opens the possibility. Without clarity, we don't have vision. It's all blurred, it's all murky, muddy. Clarity shows us the possibility of where we want to get to. Certainty opens the path. Because we could have a vision, but what's the path to get there? If we're uncertain, we're going to go in all sorts of different directions. And commitment leads to progress. That's how we put our feet on the road. So the question I have for you is, what future do you want to create? So if it's okay, can I show you a way forward with me? If you got value out of today, that you might consider perhaps that you'd want to do some work with me, I could show you a couple of ways that make that real. Because I really want to continue supporting you, giving you value. I hope I've added good value, opened minds to new possibilities today. And you can see that things could change and things could be different. So I'm going to give you 2 parts to move on from here, to move forward with it. The first is a 60 minutes, 7 shifts consultation, which is following on from here. We'll cover what you found most value from today, help you get really clear on your path forward and your future intentions, understand the most pertinent issues that you are facing in your business, help you with ideas, strategies, and options, and give you a whole ton of value within this 1-hour session, and how to apply those 7 shifts right now to start changing things in your business, right? So this is my 1-hour session, that is $397, right? The second is, if you're fast tracking, if you're like, okay, I need to make changes, I need to do things, right? This is a 3 hours deep dive. A 3-hour deep dive where I will be completely with you for those 3 hours, and we are going to include everything that's in the consult. But we're going to get deep under the hood of your business, of your life. Understand your strategies. Get clear on your numbers. Get absolutely clear on the numbers that you want to create. look at your marketing, your brand, your clients, help you build that strong foundation for growth. Map out the pathway for the next few years so that you know where you're going and how you're going to get there, applying those leverage points. Work on the mindset, what beliefs are actually holding you back from doing that, because you can put a number out there, but you may not believe you can get it. That would even stop you from putting the number out there in the first place. And provide clear strategies to make you a client attraction magnet. This will give you immense clarity for your future and get you really certain about the actions you need to take so that you can commit to that action plan. And on top of that, provide you with an accountability strategy to make sure you're hitting those numbers, you're getting where you need to go. This deep dive is 997. Now, that's the summary up there. But see, today, I really appreciate that you've come to see me. I really appreciate that you've spent the time, that you've come in here, you've trusted me with your attention. And I really want to support you in your business. Help you get what you want. You are at the center of my business. And I want to live by that, and I want to show you that. So that 60 minutes, anyone can have that. If you want that 60 minutes and we start to look, we do a 7-shift consult and we start to get your business where you want to go, absolutely. Absolutely free. You just have to book it tonight. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Okay? And if you are fast tracking and you want the 3-hour session, the big session, where we really go deep, we do a deep dive. And I highly recommend this because this will add so much value to your business. This is the kind of thing that will change your life. You'll walk out of that session, you'll be different. You're going to go after things differently, and you're going to start to see different possibilities and start to create them in your business, in your life. I'll do that for you for 397 tonight. But you must book it here. Now, I know some of you are very clever. You're going to think, well, I'll just get the free session, and then I'll get the 397 later. That's not how it's going to work, right? Yeah. So you have the free session, that's cool. And then you say, oh, but let's do the 3 hours. Yeah, sure, but you know, the price is, I can't do it at this offer price tonight. And I highly recommend. Who'd be interested in this? Yeah, great. Okay, cool. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Here you go. Those are the QR codes. They're on the back of your feedback form as well. Right? So if you turn your feedback form around, you can easily scan those. The 60 minutes, that's free. There's the QR code for it. You can book into my calendar. I've made space in my calendar for this so I can support you all through this. And if you want the 3-hour deep dive, there's a payment code, there's a payment link. You need to pay for it tonight before you leave here. Yeah? And I'll secure that spot for you in my calendar. Excellent. All good? Yes, Silana.
So, beside those deep classes, because now Sarah was mentioning the battery sessions that you have given.
Yes, yeah.
Is that
Absolutely. So I do normal coaching, my normal coaching, where I support businesses with the changes I want to make on an ongoing basis. If that's something you'd like to discuss, absolutely, yeah. Let's have a chat separately to this, and we can do that. What I'd recommend you do, if you're looking at that, is to book the free session so that we can have a chat about your business and see where it's at. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Any questions? Guys, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I would really appreciate some honest feedback on those feedback forms. So before you leave, if you could fill out some stuff that'll really help improve things. Feedback is like it's getting messages from the gods. So when you can get people to give you feedback, good or bad, it's incredibly valuable. It's all data to help make things better. So I'm going to give you some time to do that. We'll put the music on.
Can I just tell everybody?
Sure.
That the $3.97 is a little bargain. Just have some. Feeling a little ripped off
Oh, damn. This is how you lose clients.
Never. And if you haven't booked the free one,
What would it do for your business if now that you know what happens in our coaching sessions, what would that 3 hours do for you?
well, it would tick off some of the no's that we've got and maybe turn it into yeses. Because we've still got gaps, even after coaching for a while. We've still got gaps that we haven't had time to fill out. So I think it would give us more clarity, yeah. And it would set up the next part that we need to fill out.
Right.
And this start with the, yeah.
Set the direction.
Set the direction, yeah.
Season's direction,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's the idea there, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Is that on Zoom?
Sorry?
Is that on Zoom?
On Zoom, yes. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Please do fill up your feedback forms. It's been a real honor, a privilege to stand here. I am going to do an AI session. I'll let you know. You'll be informed about it. And yeah, that's going to be a mind-blowing thing because we're gonna cover. It's going to be very different from what everyone else is doing. It's just kind of trying to con you into show you how to make money using AI. This is different. This is about the bigger stuff, yeah, to do with humans.
Could I please ask everyone just to put that fighting card at the front of your agenda so I can walk around and collect it? Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Ooh. Yeah. Yes.
What's involved?
Sorry?
Can you show me that's on the screen what's involved with CLS?
Mm-hmm.